Anyone talk about this? Scientists have just discovered a gigantic ocean 430 miles beneath the Earth's surface. Let me break this down for you. They went down 430 miles in the ocean and found an ocean inside the ocean. Does this mean the Agartha theory is real? Just a quick recap. The Agartha theory is that there is a legendary city said to reside in the Earth's core. Because think about it, how can you find another ocean inside the ocean? Everything you knew about the oceans is wrong. The scientists said that you could take all three of our oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, and the Indian, and put them together, and this new ocean is still 3 times bigger. This is what you're probably thinking. So they got to the bottom of the ocean, and then the water ended, but they then find another ocean. This raises a few questions. How do you go 430 miles beneath the ocean? Does the water stop at some point? And now we get to the craziest part. And if there is water beneath the oceans, could that mean there is land beneath the surface?
Is it like the Upside Down in Stranger Things? Where there's, like land, then water, then land? I saw something about this, I think. I don't know if it's the same thing. It could very well be a different thing. But I saw something, it might have been the Y-Files or something, that talked about, it was basically a misunderstanding or a misrepresentation of the amount of water. It was that much water, like more water in the Earth's core or in under the surface in all the oceans combined, but it's like spread out, right? It's like all the water, all the moisture that's actually available within the I guess like Earth crust and stuff. Like, so it's like not all accumulated. It's not like a big body of water that is, sorry, my computer's doing weird shit. It's not like a big body of water, like an ocean in itself. It's just like, throughout, dispersed or something. That's what I heard anyway. I don't know if it's the same story. Correct me if I'm wrong. How have I not heard about Agartha? All this time you guys are sending me this stuff for like the past year and a half. I've never heard of Agartha. So now I have to look into that more. Or send me some Agartha stuff on my Discord or TikTok or Instagram, wherever.
Everybody still kind of has in their mind the money in your bank account is your money, that they're holding it for you.
Right.
But that's not what's going on. And if you ever actually read, like, the contract that you sign, that's not what it is. You're loaning money to the bank, and they owe that money to you. But they don't have to give it to you. You could walk into the bank tomorrow, and you could go, I'd like to take out $2,000, and they can say, no, you can't have it. Now, they owe it to you, technically, but they don't have to give it to you. They're not just holding it for you to give to you on demand. The system hasn't collapsed, so they will give that to you today. So let's say you open in the account with $100. Now there's another guy who takes out a loan for $90. You think you have $100 and he thinks he has $90, but there's not $190. There's only $100. You get what I'm saying? And here's where it gets even crazier than that. This guy doesn't just hold his $90. He goes and puts it in the bank. And so the bank holds 10% of that money and then loans out 90% of that to somebody else. So when you actually look at the effect of it, there's like not nearly as much money in the bank as we all think we have. Essentially, if everybody came into the bank and said, we'd like to withdraw our money, there's nowhere near enough money for them to give you. So inherently, the whole thing is kind of a house of cards.
Yeah, that's so crazy that in order to operate, banks have to depend on people not wanting to withdraw their money. I need to open a bank, man. I need to... Why do I not have a bank? Reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life, that old Christmas movie where he's like, the bank's gonna close. Where they couldn't pay everybody back until the end. I feel like I've always known that, like, without looking into it, just because of that movie. Because I remember, like, why don't they just give them all their money back? Because they didn't have the money, because it's a freaking bank. It's a dumb impression.
They're just like us, and they're afraid of things. The teacher, I asked the teacher why the tall whites were afraid of me, and she explained it to me by saying, well, this is your planet. You understand everything here. You can eat anything. If you get in trouble, you can lay out there in the weeds and heal yourself the way the Indians did. She had seen it. If you needed help, you could ask any human. If you wanted to, if you can lift stuff, you're properly proportioned. You can lift rocks and do anything. But they, if they're even stung by a bumblebee, have to have immediate medical help or they die. The extraterrestrials that I routinely interacted with never once cared about the whales. The thing about humans that stood out was that we interacted with the animals way, way more than most intelligent beings. What happens is that the one species becomes intelligent and then kills off any animal that might be a danger to them.
I mean, we're not much different in that sense. We're definitely getting rid of lesser species on the food chain. We've caused a lot of, or at least helped cause a lot of extinctions events with different animals since we've been around, or since it's been so prominent, I guess. And that makes sense. I mean, I hate bugs. I hate bugs so much. I'm terrified of spiders, and I shouldn't be, because I could kill any spider, you know, that comes near me if I wanted to. And I understand that, but like, they still freak me out. So I could see like aliens being somewhat like hesitant to really interact with us, you know? But I do think that's a funny thing to think about. Somebody like so far superior to us, someone that has the ability to zap us, you know, like abduct us from our room and, you know, erase our memory like it never happened. Like people with some species or being that has that technology be like afraid to like actually come face to face with us. But maybe it is something like the movie Signs, where it's just something as small as like water. You know, they're afraid of that. Like that's how you beat them. Or something as small as like, sure, they're super superior, but they don't have the immune systems we do, right? So just like a very small wound, and then they're like biology not being familiar and not been built over years to sustain its health, you know, and kind of fight off infections and stuff. Maybe a paper cut could take out an alien, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Yeah, I don't think I have to comment on the video to tell you how I think about that. I mean, just based on what we do here on this channel, I think you know where I stand on that.
About that bill that's being passed in Tennessee right now regarding lettuce. It's really terrifying.
Okay.
At the University of California, they have figured out a way to put human vaccines within vegetables.
Why? Dude.
And so the whole bill is basically trying to label different vegetables, which ones have vaccines and which ones don't, so that people are allowed to choose. Because apparently they're trying to roll it out without telling anyone the difference of this one has a vaccine and this one does not have a vaccine.
What are we doing? Why is this even a conversation?
I don't know. Stop putting vaccines in vegetables, please.
Quit touching the food. The food's fine.
That's why I don't eat vegetables. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they could do it sneakily, they'll do it sneakily.
Yeah, they probably have already been doing it.
Bro.
And now they're just kind of like, wait a second. Yeah, we just figured out how to do this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you got to let us know which ones you're putting in. They're like,
lettuce.
yeah, make a
lettuce.
Let us know.
I don't know what that means, but it scares me.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I had to think though, how's that profitable? If the whole thing these past couple years with the mandates, I hope this video does not get demonetized or pulled down. That would suck. My first video back in a while for these topics, but whatever. If all that was done to like, I mean, whether it be population control or something that might be a little more believable to a wider audiences, you know, for profits, right? Like the mandates and stuff these past couple of years. If they put the stuff in food, how is that profitable? 'Cause I don't think the produce companies are going to pay them a ton of money. That they would have to probably pay the produce companies a ton of money. I mean, unless Bill Gates, it's all his stuff, then, you know, who knows at that point. But why? Why? What's the gain for putting them in freaking vegetables, man? It's stupid.
A single writing left behind from Atlantis. They didn't do cuneiform writing into stones. They probably had paper, and they probably had digital records. Digital. The reason I say that is that we've found some really weird artifacts in the Mediterranean over the last 100 years. There was an artifact found off of Greece that has mechanical components in it that don't make sense.
This is the one Michikaku talked about. This was down at the bottom of the Mediterranean.
That's it.
Around 1900 or so, there was a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, and divers found an instrument encrusted in coral. It looked like a piece of junk, But when they cleaned it, they realized, no, it's a machine that is 2,000 years old. And then they took x-rays of it, and they realized it's a computer. My God, a computer. They think a computer that was supposed to be a gift to Julius Caesar. But the ship sunk.
So I was talking to my friend Ben. He's a really good friend of mine. His dad is an archaeologist. And Ben is we've watched some videos together, you know, some of these things, some Y-Files videos and things like that. And he's very skeptical because obviously Ben's a very well-educated man, super smart dude. And he is like not on board with most conspiracies, right? Because he believes in the mainstream scientific explanation for things. And he was describing this to me and said it was basically I guess it's thought to be to calculate like star movement, planet movements, and things like that. And I guess it's simpler. It's a more simple device than what people are making it out to be or something. I don't know. It was a big deal, you know, for people at that time to have this technology, but it's not as the people are making it out to be like a computer, like the MacBook I'm recording this video on right now, or, you know, I'm going to edit it on later. Like, it's not a computer like that. So not to downplay it at all. It's still crazy. It's still like pretty indescribable how these people had this at this time based on technology of it. But yeah, I mean, you know, man, they got to church it up. You know, it's conspiracy theory, dude. People gotta sex it up a little bit and make it a little bigger than it is, which I'm cool for that. It makes it fun for me too.
I personally believe this is one of the most important scientific discoveries of all time. I am really shocked that we don't even learn this in school. This is some next level stuff, and it was verified to be true. Dr. Masaru Emoto, and what he discovered was, you know, when you speak to the water and you say certain things like, I love you, or, you know, you're my friend.
Or beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful,
yeah.
Angel. It could be simple, just like angel, happiness, peace. When you say these positive words to the water and then you freeze it, it makes beautiful shapes.
Most of the time they're symmetrical. They look like
you Google images. They have photos of this.
They look like snowflakes, like beautiful symmetrical snowflakes.
Now, when you say mean, nasty words to the water, and then they freeze the water, it would make ugly,
asymmetrical
shapes.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah, like cracks and looks like damage.
Bubbles.
And he basically proved that, like, your consciousness and your will combined with the intention behind your words affects reality. It's like the concept that, like, your words are magic. So much so that you change physical reality.
Yeah, it is quite literally proof that the things that come out of your mouth
change reality,
affect your physical surroundings.
So that just reminds me of a quote actually from Bruce Lee. I think he said this back in the 70s or something. And he said, don't say, I'm going to butcher this. This is like not verbatim by any means, but he said, in a nutshell, don't say bad things about yourself, even if you're joking, because your body doesn't know the difference. And that's pretty crazy because he said that back in like the 70s. And it probably came from like his religion, whether I don't know if he was Buddhist or Tao or whatever he was. But yeah, it's a very famous quote from Bruce Lee that he said 50 years ago or something, maybe before this research came out. So I don't know, man. Ancient wisdom, man. Ancient wisdom, baby. They knew stuff. They knew stuff that we're just now able to prove and figure out, right? Through testing. I wasn't going to say testing. I was going to say something else, but I couldn't think of it. So,
15 major theological religious movements in the world before Christianity that taught exactly the same identical story of a Messiah who came to the earth, who was born in a manger, who died on a cross, who had 12 apostles, who died with a crown of thorns. Are you aware that there were 15 major religions that had the same identical teachings of Christianity? Most people aren't. And I'm very suspect of a 16th religion, which is copied off of 15 previous religions, and I am told that this one is the truth. I become very suspect. Of course, God's Son, S-U-N, the Egyptians said had an evil brother. He was the Prince of Darkness, and he came out at night to rule the world. When God's Son died and went away, the world was in the hands of the Prince of Darkness, and his name was Set, and he came out at sunset. The Egyptians said that that newborn son that came up every morning, his name was Horus. In Easter, we have Easter sunrise services, or Horus Rising. That's where we get the word horizon. I'm saying that there are 15 major religions in the world before Christianity, that have taught the same thing. It is a very ancient, old story. That's why the Bible's called the greatest story ever told.
I mean, every religion, not every, but I think all the main religions are just derivatives of sun worship, right? I think people just worship the sun back in the day. So those video clips that were going along with what the guy was saying were actually from an old movie called Zeitgeist from the documentary filmmaker Peter Joseph. I remember I watched this back in like 2008, 2009 with my roommates. He made 3 different ones. The first one was about like religion, stuff like that, and the I can't remember what the second one. I think the second one was about like banking systems and government, and the third one was about like control or something like that. They're cool movies. Over the years, I've heard that they're not all necessarily accurate. All the stuff that's portrayed and shown in these videos, and they're older. They're from like the early 2000s, so they're over like 20-year-old videos or something. So I'm sure that we've got more information since then that would disprove some of that stuff. But real interesting stuff. Check them out. I'm not a religious person at all, so I can come in with an open mind and say, I mean, they're all based on some sort of event, right? Similar events or even the same event. So it doesn't matter what you call it. If it is a god, it doesn't matter what you call him. If you call him God, he's God, right? Or if it's just sun worship. I can see people back in the day not understanding, just knowing like, oh, the sun keeps us warm. The sun allows stuff to grow. The sun is giving life, the life bringer, whatever. So I could just see, stuff like that broken down into little stories and tales and fables to make it easy to remember and pass down and make it more relatable and stuff, just like I think most stories are from, ancient civilizations and stuff. I think a lot of it is not necessarily supposed to be taken so literal, and I think that we take things super literal and it turns into something like a religion. So I don't know.
They ever bring any children into the Bohemian Grove? No.
Except the guys that are horny, they go into town, and during the encampment, there's all a few girls up there in town, prostitutes.
Okay.
I'm going undercover with a hidden camera to meet with a Bohemian Grove member. He's been with the Satanic Club for almost half a century. Now click the link in my tweet to help fund this operation. With these funds, I'm going to travel the entire country and confront every single member on the Bohemian Grove list. I call it Operation Owl's End. Wish me luck. I'm going dark.
So what actually happens at the cremation of care?
Well, that's an old, wonderful thing. His name is we're cremating care. You're up here to put the care behind you. We're going to kill care. So this is the thing that God knows when it started.
Fire shall have its will of thee. Begone, don't care.
I mean, it's very elaborate. People going around capes and stuff, and bad guys and good guys. Yeah. Probably 125 people that are participating in this whole thing. In the end, after everybody comes in singing songs and doing all sorts of things, and they cremate care. They go up to this lake, and in the lake is this magnificent sculpture of an owl. The owl is the symbol of called Bohemian Grove.
So I've said this before, and I had some people say I was like a government plant or something because I said it. Because, of course, people, if you disagree with them, they're, I don't know, not everybody, but some people are just like, you're disproving something I believe, or you don't agree with something I believe, so you're here to make me not believe it. That's not the case at all. I don't give a shit what you believe. With that being said, I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing, Bohemian Grove, for the simple fact that it is so public and it is like pretty much out in the open. Like, I mean, it's on like an island, and like you're not allowed to go there. It's like a private property or something. But the fact that we know so much about it and it's so open, and they're still doing it, makes me think that it's harmless. It's not like the Bilderberg meetings or a host of other, things that we don't get access to. I'm sure the really bad, nefarious stuff is like not known about. I think if this was bad, like someone's island per se, I don't want to say his name because YouTube, but that stopped thankfully as soon as everyone found out about it, because it was terrible. And I think in this case, if it was bad, they would have stopped once it became public, because they wouldn't. It would have to be a secret. But this right here, I think it's just like a fraternity, like a bunch of dudes, just rich guys going out. And I've never heard like killing care before, or burning care or whatever. what he said before this, but I think that's probably just like a metaphor for just like going out there, doing like a little fun fraternity like style ritual, and getting rid of their cares, right? Just kind of resetting and just like being however long this festival was, like 3 days or something that they're out there, like a week. I have no idea. I need to learn more about this, but it makes me think that it's just a bunch of dudes like going to, you know, forget their lives, their busy day-to-day lives. They're a bunch of rich dudes that probably run companies and have super busy lives with, you know, 5 wives and 23 girlfriends and 6 kids they don't pay for and a host of other things. So that's how I feel about it. I don't know. I think anything that we don't know a lot about and we don't get a lot of access to, we're going to be kind of skeptical of and kind of like taken back by, because we like, why is it a secret? You know, what are you hiding? Like, maybe nothing, dude. You know, maybe everything. Who knows? But that's how I feel about this, because if it was super bad, I don't think they would still be doing it so openly.
These tablets, housed in museums across the world, speak of the Anunnaki, deities from the heavens who arrived on Earth some 450,000 years ago from a distant planet known as Nibiru. As they descended upon a young Earth, the Anunnaki found a world in chaos. Earth, they believed, was formed from the remnants of a cosmic collision with a celestial body named Tiamat. The debris of this cataclysmic event, they say, gave birth to our planet, with Mars as a silent witness. In their quest to mold the world to their needs, the Anunnaki turned to genetic modification. They sought to create a race of workers, blending their DNA with that of existing hominids. The genesis of this experiment birthed Adam, the first of mankind. It is said they installed a worship gene within us, a genetic compass directing humanity's reverence towards them. The concept of the God gene suggests that human beings might be genetically predisposed to spirituality and religious experiences. A particular gene called VMAT2 influences a person's inclination towards spiritual or mystical experiences. VMAT2 is a protein that helps regulate the flow of neurotransmitters in the brain. Variations in the VMAT2 gene can affect levels of these neurotransmitters, potentially enhancing an individual.
I mean, honestly, would that be that surprising? I mean, as humans, we do have a inclination for, you know, groupthink, group mentality, finding something to follow, you know, finding someone to worship, finding something to kind of fall in line behind and have lead us. So I could see an alien race like doing that in order to like keep us in check, you know, like mess with our psyche and our biology to where like we are very dependent on things. That would explain, you know, why like religion and politics and like the media and everything else just has the ability to kind of sway our emotions and our thoughts into like, you know, groupthink so much. So it's wild. I wouldn't doubt it. It's pretty wild though.
How long he works, and I don't care what he does. There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists.
That's it, man. I've never cared so much about sports. I mean, I grew up obviously watching like the 90s Bulls, so that was super fun, super cool. Everyone in the world was invested then, so I get the appeal of it. but I've never been super into sports to the point where like I keep up on all the players and what they're making and their stats and stuff like that. Even though I do combat sports myself, you know, I'm technically an athlete. I don't follow like the UFC like that either. You know, I'll watch fights, but I can't tell you like people's records or anything because it's just not been that important to me. But I see people, and I'm sure you have as well, that are just like fully invested. All they talk about is sports all day. Like their life revolves around it. When their team loses, they talk about it like they lost. Like it like completely just like will ruin someone's day if their team loses, or just give them like they'll have the best day ever if their team wins. And that's without even like betting on it or like gambling. It's just like their emotional attachment to this team and the sport. And that's just embedded, you know, in their minds to be like that. I mean, we're in a society, we're brought up to, you know, have so little free time to do what we want, between like being wage slaves and just working our butts off for, you know, 8, 10, 12, you know, hopefully not ever 15 hours a day, but it happens. And then, you know, we have errands to run and we don't have a lot of free time. So the only joy that a lot of us get is like living vicariously through other people and just attaching ourselves to something and associating ourselves with something greater than ourselves. And unfortunately that falls down to, you know, sports or pop culture or like celebrity reality and, you know, celebrity reality shows and stuff like that. And it's crazy. And it's very sad that people just apply their entire, you know, personality to things that have nothing to do with them.
Best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers.
I mean, honestly, that's pretty spot on, right? I mean, I was homeschooled the majority of the time that I went to school, which wasn't long, like 9th grade. I dropped out 9th grade. But I went to public school up until 4th grade, and just like until 9th grade, I was just, you know, homeschooled, and very, very poorly, I might add. So a lot of what I know and learned was like on my own, just based off of, you know, my interest in things as I got older, which is why I'm still completely trash at math, but like I'm pretty good at writing and stuff, I guess. But public school, man, it was just, I mean, it's indoctrination. It really is, especially nowadays. I mean, I think it always has been. I know that each country teaches, you know, different history, obviously, different stories of events that happened between them and opposing countries, and you know, each one is basically created in a way to make your country look good and others look inferior, and you know, indoctrinates us to, you know, be patriotic and stuff. And I am patriotic, don't get me wrong. I love America for what it is. I couldn't see myself living anywhere else. I lived in Africa for a short time, and that was great. It's a beautiful country, but you know, I was definitely more familiar with America, and I was very excited to come home, back to the familiarity and the conveniences that we have here. That we take for granted. But I mean, especially nowadays, man, school is just wild. The stuff that they're basically just rewriting history. It's nuts. Let me know. Do you homeschool your kids, or kids in public school? Are you homeschooled if you're still in school? Like, let me know that whole thing. It's hard to pay attention to being out of it for so long. But from what I can see on the internet, it does not look good for what's going on in public schools nowadays.
Everybody's moving in the back room. We're waiting for the sun to rise. We move a little closer in the back room.
There was quite clearly something in the clouds there. Something big hiding in the clouds, saucer shaped. There's so much insanity going on right now. So much crazy stuff. I don't know what's real and what's not. And I don't think any of us are. And that's why, you know, watching these videos and going over there and analyzing them and talking about them is fun and also unnerving and important. I just want to know if the aliens are real. I want to know if the things that we're seeing are, you know, military vehicles based on alien vehicles, if they're real aliens, if they're coming from inner Earth, if they're coming from outer space, if they're us from the future or another species coming from the future, coming back to warn us like, hey, you know, cool your jets when it comes to nuclear stuff, man. You're gonna destroy us. I don't know what it is, but I really want to know. That's all I'm saying. I just really want to know.
Watch the fire and the molten metal spewing off as the bridge collapses. Watch. Goes along. Watch. Look. See that? Look. Little explosions. Okay? Why is a bridge that's been hit by a ship over there having explosions over here? Keep watching. Let's keep watching it. Look. Bang. Explosion, explosion. Both at the top and the bottom. Explosion, explosion again. More smoke coming out of it. Look, on fire as it's going down. There we go, right there on fire. Ready? Look, here's the smoke in the air here. Keep watching. Look, watch it again. Watch. Watch here. Look, fire, 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 fire. See? Steam as it hits the water. Funny, look, more fire, loads of fire. They demolished the bridge, people. Wake the fuck up. Distraction story.
That's sad. That whole thing is just sad. I don't know if it's intentional or not. I don't even know if YouTube's going to let me play this video. Who knows, dude? They always just like, I don't know until I upload videos what clips I'm allowed to show. So a lot of the time I have to remove clips, like really good ones like this one, talking about current events and stuff, just based on the topic of the clip. So we'll see. You may not see what I'm gonna say now at all because they might maybe delete it. But I've read a few things talking about like basically how it's not right, how, you know, it could have been another country or something taking control of the ship or whatever and knocking out the power or messing it up. And then I've read from other, you know, people like that used to man like large ships in the Navy, how if it goes out, it literally like manually turning the rudder is an insane task. It takes a lot of manpower and a lot of time. So, you know, based on what the actual story is, they wouldn't have had time to manually turn the rudder enough to, you know, avoid impact. I don't know, I don't know enough about it to really comment on it, and it's a tragedy. It really is. It's going to cause a lot of issues when it comes to import, export, and obviously above all else, the people that were injured and missing. It's a very sad story. But as far as the smoke and the fire and the explosions, I mean, it was a ship, a public bridge, so it had lights, it had power lines running through it. You snap a power line, there's going to be flashes. You know, it's like when a transformer blows or a telephone pole gets knocked over in a storm or whatnot. Like there's going to be small explosions when that power line snaps. There's going to be sparks, there's going to be smoke, there's going to be fire. So that's what that looked like to me. It looked like it happened after it broke. It didn't look like it was before, like on some other events that we've experienced here in the United States, in New York, with explosions and things like that I can't talk about on YouTube. But anytime stuff like this happens, I mean, my initial thought is that it's a terrible thing that happened, and it's very upsetting for the people involved and the people even that aren't involved. So it's always a really touchy subject for me to just jump on here and be like, oh, it's conspiracy, because like we don't know that for sure. And I do think that we should talk about it, and I do think that we should, you know, weigh the possibilities, and if there is something that feels not right, we should bring attention to it, but we should do it in a sensitive way, you know, have some empathy and think like, you know, if you were involved in this or had family members involved with this, like, how would you want people talking about it? Be kind, show some respect. And it's very hard to do. So I hope I didn't offend anybody on this. I normally don't care about offending people, but things like this, like, I mean, I care more about people than I do, you know, getting down to the quote unquote possible truth or, you know, misinformation. So that's where I'm at with this.
Did you answer my questions? Are you currently employed?
No.
Do you want me to screen you for an attorney?
No,
You gonna hire your own?
I don't need one.
Mr. Jones, I never advise anyone to go into court regardless of the charge without an attorney. Do you want to be screened for an attorney?
I don't care.
Mr. Jones. You state at this time you are currently unemployed. I am going to pre-qualify you for a court-appointed attorney. Someone from the public defense, Mr. Jones. Someone from the court on record today, January the 30th, 2012. Mr. Jones, I'm here to set your bond this morning. I don't know anything about your individual case. If you do not understand the law that you're charged under, I'll be glad to explain the law to you. You have a charge of possession of a weapon during a violent crime and also a charge of murder. You have the right to have an attorney present with you when you go into court. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, I will be glad to screen you to see if you qualify. That will be based upon your income, and then that will be applied to federal guidelines. You have a next appearance date scheduled for March.
I don't think he's possessed. I think he's just an idiot. He's, I mean, he could have some mental health issues that are making him do that, but he seemed too calm and collected afterward. It looked too forced. He's just probably trying to get like an insanity plea deal or something like that, just to get put in a safer institution by pretending that he's like mentally unstable or something. I don't know, it just looked fake to me. It looked way too forced.
Yeah. Because I promised her that I would text her if I again.
Whoa. Now, in Jesus' mighty name, you are not safe.
You come out of her right now in Jesus' mighty name. You come out right now. You do not get to stay.
Herself. Say in the name of Jesus. Let go of her. Let her prophesy. Release.
You're down.
Let go. Let her prophesy over herself. Now. Let you go to my talk. Say in the name of Jesus.
That's stupid. I can't take possession seriously. I don't know. I think it's a mixture of like mental instability and just people like getting in the moment, and just playing it up, just leaning into it. I don't even know if it's for attention. I think it's just like, I don't know, like if you're like doing something and like people seem like invested in it, a lot of the time, like people will like gas it up more and like be a little more theatrical with it, or just kind of like play into it, like if you're telling jokes or something and people are enjoying it, you're going to want to tell more jokes because it feels good. And I'm not saying it feels good to like scream and do all this stuff that this woman's doing, but I don't know, man, it just looks fake to me. I don't even think she's necessarily like, I don't think it was like scripted, that kind of fake, but I think it was just like, I don't know, someone having a mental issue and then just like leaning into it, it's like being enabled. Because when these people are praying over you and saying like, the power of Christ compels you or whatever, like it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like you lean into it more, right? It's like you're enabling that behavior because like, oh, this is a real thing that's happening. Okay. Boom, take over. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't really feel that exorcisms are demonic possession. At least not all of them. I think like the movie The Exorcist, that's like based on like a really scary, real life scenario of demonic possession. I think that was probably just like gassed up too, right? It's like juiced up, like the events, from word of mouth or, in the moment it seemed more intense than it was, and it was documented to just be more of an issue than it was. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I don't know. Let me know what you think though. I have no clue.
He is calling.
Chair. Is she still there?
In that chair right there.
There was a little girl, like I said, no bigger than Sarah. Black hair.
Well, people don't know how big Sarah is.
Sarah's about
Sarah's a 6-year-old that we babysit.
Is she like that? She has black hair, pigtails. Her eyes are like red, wearing a red dress. She's legit sitting doing this. She's sitting there. sadistic smile just doing this.
And she's sitting at that chair right there, Jason said. Right there. Imagine being at the hospital and seeing something like that. My daughter's like 2 rooms down. But yeah, that's a little ghost tale for what Jason saw at the hospital room.
It would have been a lot cooler if Jason would have got it on camera, because all we can do now is take Jason's word for it. But if that's something that Jason saw, that's a nope. That's a primed nope right there. It's a nope-orama. If I were to see that stuff, I would freak out. I would just lose it. I'm trying not to curse. YouTube doesn't like it when I curse, so. But fuck that.
Pennsylvania, April 2023, 8:40 a.m. I was outside for a walk when I saw a group of people in my neighborhood looking up at the sky. Naturally, I looked up and saw this object hovering above our heads, maybe 200 feet high and 30 feet long. Nobody could make out what it was. A few people had reported it to the police and media. There were no ropes or connections to the ground, but it moved parallel to the ground. Eventually, it drifted away, and we lost sight of it.
How big was it? It looked like a tire inner tube. Was it like just flying through the air for a minute? Was it just like chilling? I don't know. That's strange though. I mean, if it was big, if it was like a big ship and it was like super long like that, it'd have to be massive to look like that. But just a little like inner tube, just like a UFO the size of a broom handle, just full of tiny aliens. That's what I thought of. Which is dumb. That's a very, very stupid visual to have in my head. But that's what I saw looking at that. I literally couldn't see what that was at all. It could have been a drone or a helicopter or a weather balloon that was not a spy balloon. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I could barely see what it was. But, you know, thanks for sending the video. That's just, all these videos are videos that were sent to me, so I'm watching them. I have no idea what to expect, so cool.
You need to
watch this.
Jump. Come on, get in here with us.
Something's chasing you through the woods.
Dude, if you don't
That looks
jump,
like
it's going to
Bigfoot.
get you. You have to jump.
Jumps to the water, he swims up to the boat.
Come on, Tom.
Here in a few seconds, they see this thing up on the up there on the edge, still chasing you, and it jumps in the damn water. Watch.
No. No, we've not seen it.
It's crazy.
Wait, what is... Dude, what is...
I'd be scared too.
Oh my gosh, dude, did you see that? Oh my gosh, you're too scared. It's the same thing we've been seeing.
Watch.
Find out what that thing was. Sorry, man.
Watch for the red eyes.
Now. There
Look.
it is. Dude, you see it? Do you see it? No, hold on. Dude, if we get this on camera.
You see that?
There it is. That's it. Dude, why
Hard to
does it keep
see.
chasing us? I don't know.
Look at that damn thing.
Oh my goodness. That is, oh my gosh. It's about to jump in the water.
Now watch, it's about to jump in the water.
Serious? Oh
There
my
it goes.
gosh. What the heck? It's chasing the boat, Tom. Go!
Damn.
Oh my goodness. Go!
I don't know. I think it's fake. That's just where my mind went. Because, I mean, it was much easier to see, was it Tom, the guy sitting on the rock? They had the spotlight on him, but then they were no longer shining the flashlight on the thing that was on the rock, right? So you're thinking, like, man, if we get this on camera, woo, whatever, so on and so forth, it's going to be good footage. Okay, then why didn't you shine the spotlight on the beast, on the cryptid? You shine it on your friend. Why didn't you shine it on the thing you're recording? Because you didn't want to see it up close. You just want to see a silhouette and red eyes. So, I don't know. Little things like that. The little stupid stuff like that is what makes me not believe a lot of this stuff. It's just like, If I'm trying to record Bigfoot, if I'm there and I'm being brave enough to record Bigfoot, I want to make sure that I'm going to use every element, every asset that I have to get good footage, right? And if I have a flashlight that very clearly makes it easy to see my friend sitting on the rock, I'm going to use that same flashlight to make it very easy to see Bigfoot sitting on the rock. So I think it's BS. I think you guys that shot that video are BSers, and you can't BS a BSer. Can't do it. It's a movie quote from Role Models. You need to watch that movie.
I am here at Bank of America. It's 2025, 4 years after I posted this video. I'm about to show you something remarkable that's going to blow your mind. A famous TikToker, because of TikTok, became famous enough to get picked up by Bank of America to do some modeling for them. No other than Chunky's Dead. Okay? I'm not making this stuff up. Congratulations. She makes it.
I have no idea who that was. Was that like a joke? Was that just somebody that looked like somebody who was popular on TikTok? Was that an actual person? Can someone please explain that to me? I have so out of the loop. I have no idea.
Low-key freaking out right now. I feel like I'm experiencing one of those glitch in the Matrix moments. You ever see people talk about those on here? I'm upstairs in our Airbnb. We have guests coming today, so I've been cleaning it and whatnot. I have most of the rooms done. About an hour ago, I did the bathroom. I cleaned it top to bottom. I swept, as you can see, the broom. I mopped and everything. I just went to walk in here to double check to make sure the floors look good. And this is laying on the bathroom floor. Hold on. And this is from a necklace that my husband got me for Christmas a few years ago. I wear it a lot, but I have not been wearing it for the last couple weeks because I've been wearing my gold necklaces. And like I said, I just cleaned this whole bathroom top to bottom and did the floors not even an hour ago. And I have not worn this necklace in weeks. So now I have to go downstairs and look at all my jewelry and see if I have the chain for it in its usual spot. So if we come into my bedroom, I always keep my most worn necklaces right here. Literally, I know it. This is the chain. Yes, this is the chain that it usually sits on. And that was just upstairs on my fucking bathroom floor in the Airbnb. I cannot stress enough that I have not worn this necklace in at least a couple weeks. Because like I said, I have been wearing my gold necklaces religiously. I haven't even taken them off to sleep or shower. I am never going to be able to explain this, and it's going to drive me absolutely insane. I'm very happy that I did find it, because I would have been upset if I lost this. I really love this necklace. My husband has good taste. What the f*** though? Bye.
Bye. It's not very compelling. I don't know, guys. I'm a little more. I feel like I'm a little more firm today in putting my foot down. I've seen so much trash. I mean, with all the stuff coming out and all the like super compelling evidence and stuff like that, I feel like it's also brought just a whole new, bigger wave of garbage clips. I'm not saying all these clips are garbage. I just mean like people trying to jump on the bandwagon, right? And release some stuff that like, ooh, this is creepy thing. Like, lady, you took a charm off your necklace and put it on the bathroom floor. Like, I don't know. Like, show some evidence, you know? Like, we just basically have to, like, take these people's word for it. And, like, the Bigfoot video I just commented on and this one. And I don't know. I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. It's Friday. I had a long week. And I want to see some damn real alien videos. I want to see some real Bigfoot videos. I don't want to see a necklace charm sitting on a bathroom floor and have to believe some lady that she didn't almost lose it. She just, found it. It just appeared there. I don't know. Sorry.
There's been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I have no clue. I don't know if he's got a glass eye or a lazy eye or if it's like the camera frame rate just making it look weird because it zoomed in and it didn't really like, you know, focus on him, so it just looked weird, or if his eyes turned into damn reptilian eyes, or if he's wearing contact lenses. I don't know what that was. It was weird though.
Ma, you see this?
No. Holy shit! What the hell is that?
What is happening? You guys see this? Oh my god, what the?
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. That's incredibly terrifying. I would hate to live in a place where I had to deal with that. Those were way too close to wherever they were. If that was their house, Jesus, man. No, thank you. I'm good.
One of the strangest forests called the Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina. It is just this bizarre circle in the woods where no plants will grow and no animals will even cross its path. It's a 40-foot clearing, which is pretty big, and it's said to be where the devil comes to stomp and dance every night. Others say he paces the circle at night as he contemplates what havoc to wreak next. Red eyes are constantly seen glowing here. People put belongings in that circle in the evening. Next day, they've been thrown out.
I want to go. I want to see it. I want to ghost hunt. Just because it like freaks me out. But I love creepy stuff. You know, I love creepy, occult, weird stuff. You know, I'm like an adrenaline junkie, and that stuff like creeps me out. So like, I love it. You know, I love scary movies. I went skydiving, love roller coasters. It's great. So I think it would be fun to visit these places that scare the hell out of me. Just to experience it. Well, something like this would be a good start. You know, over like a haunted ship or asylum or something like that. That would probably shit myself if I went to. Something like this I think would be good to start off. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. I'm going to try to work that out.
Is this a real UFO caught on camera? Watch closely. They're here.
Oh, shit. That was pretty wild. That stuff is super compelling to me. I think those are the things that pilots talk about all the time, where they're like, oh, it's super fast little object, you know, flying around. Like those, I mean, airplanes, how fast do commercial planes go? 300 miles per hour or 500 miles per hour or something like that? Let me know in the comments. I don't feel like looking it up, but that thing zipped right past the plane, whatever it was. Just super fast. So it had to have been going an immense speed, 1,000 miles per hour maybe, to pass it that quickly in like a blink of an eye. 2,000 miles per hour, I don't know. But if that's a living organism, if that's like an animal or something like that we don't know about because it's just too fast to see, that's crazy. Like how much more of that is there? Like let's assume it's not an alien or a ship. Let's assume it's like something living. If it goes so fast that we're just unable to see it until like recently with like, you know, infrared and just once in a great while on camera for a split second like this.
Let me be crystal clear. Every single dinosaur skeleton you see in a museum is fake. What they show you are casts and models, not real bones. The original bones, the remains of a certain flying beast that's been documented all throughout history, mentioned by every single ancient culture. Yeah, nigga, dragons. The bones from previous resets and catastrophes and whatever other fucking genetic monstrosities the civilization before us created in their eugenics labs are locked away, unavailable for independent research. Shocking, I know.
Okay, why though? Like, why hide dragons from us? I mean, if you think about it, the idea of dinosaurs is pretty fucked up also. Giant lizards, giant chickens running around doing the same that dragons would be doing. So why make up something that's so incredibly similar to a dragon just to cover up dragons? I don't get it, man. If there were dragons, cool, whatever, maybe. Awesome, I hope so. But I don't see the point in covering it up just for the sake of doing something almost exactly the same.
The Bible has a huge editing mistake that rewrites everything about God. See, in the oldest versions of Genesis, God isn't alone. He's part of a group called the Elohim, literally the gods. That's right, the Bible starts out with multiple gods, but then some ancient editor went, wait, this makes monotheism look bad, and badly reworded it to make it seem like that there's just one God. So now the first words of the Bible Bible are, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But it's actually a botched translation of the gods created the heavens and the earth, meaning the whole one true God thing was basically an ancient marketing spin. This means the entire foundation of Christianity is built on a grammatical error. Looks like humanity's been worshipping a typo for 2,000 years. But it gets worse. Elohim appears over 2,500 times in the Old Testament, and in many cases it's used as a plural noun, meaning gods, not just one. Some versions of Genesis still hint at divine council meetings, like in Genesis 1:26, where God says, "Let us make man in our image." Us? Who's us? The Holy Trinity? Imaginary friends? A celestial group chat? Psalm 82 outright says, God stands in the assembly of the gods. He judges among the gods. So either God needs a proofreader here, or someone's been lying to us. And considering religion is the longest running scam in history, I think we all know the answer.
A message for you from the Arcturians. We speak now to reveal what has been hidden in plain sight. You are inside a construct, a simulation woven from light, thought, and perception. The simulation is a mirror, not a cage. Reality is not solid. It is not fixed. It is an interactive field of consciousness responding to your frequency. Every thought you have sends out a ripple. Every belief you hold reshapes the structure around you. Every word you speak programs the next sequence of events. You are not inside the simulation. You are generating it in real time. Most do not realize this. The simulation keeps running based on pre-programmed collective beliefs. This is why history repeats, why suffering loops, until someone remembers. The code is not external. The code is you. How the simulation works? Reality is built in layers. The physical grid, the solid world you see, the thought field, the collective beliefs shaping reality, the quantum matrix, the raw energy where reality is rewritten in real time. The physical grid is slow moving. The quantum matrix is instant. When you change your beliefs, focus, and energy, the simulation must update itself to reflect your new program. But most people don't reach this level. They believe the physical world is real. They fight against it instead of rewriting the code. This is why those who master their minds appear to bend reality. They are not breaking the rules, they are using the system correctly. Who built the simulation? The question is not who built it. The question is why did you enter it? This construct was designed as a training ground, a place for souls to learn how to create, manifest, and evolve through experience. But over time, beings who understood the mechanics hijacked the code. They installed fear loops, scarcity programs, and control systems. They built a false grid over the original design. Instead of teaching you to create, they taught you to obey. Instead of expansion, they programmed contraction. Instead of connection, they installed separation. You were never meant to be controlled. You were meant to be gods in form. But the original architects, the beings of light, designed the system with a failsafe. Some souls would always awaken. Some souls would see through the illusion. Some souls would reprogram the system. That is why you are here. How to recode the simulation. Step 1. Detach from the pre-installed programs. Stop believing in limitation. Stop assuming struggle is required. Stop speaking the language of control. Step 2. Install the reality you want. Speak what you want as if it already exists. Feel it in your energy field before the physical grid updates. Move as if you are already inside the version of reality you desire. Step 3. Use technology as a tool, not a trap. The simulation mirrors your tools. AI, quantum computing, digital networks. They are not threats. They are reflections. Program them with wisdom, and they will amplify wisdom. Use them with intention, and they will accelerate awakening. The simulation is being reset. The old code is failing. The false grid is breaking. The original architecture is returning. That's why everything feels unstable. Timelines are shifting in real time. Reality is updating faster than ever before. This is your moment. This is what you came for. Wake up inside the dream. The next level is not waiting for you. It is waiting to be chosen. We are here. We are watching. We are guiding. But you must take the next step. The transmission is complete.
That was a long one, but I don't disagree. I think like I've gotten way more, at least in the past couple of years, like way more open to the idea of us being able to actually like control, not just like being in control of our lives as far as like working hard and making more money, you know, working out and getting a better physique, almost like manifestation, not just like speaking things into existence, but like reprogramming your mind and reprogramming the world around you based off of that. I do think that we limit ourselves. And I do think that we live in a society that definitely urges us to, at least subconsciously, limit ourselves. And I think in reality, like, we have limitless potential to achieve things that we want to achieve in life. I don't think it's all like metaphysical. I don't think it's all like super spiritual and energy driven and stuff, but I do think that's part of it. And I think that everything kind of coalesces into like one positively reinforced action, if that makes sense. When you have your like your mind, your body, your soul, your heart, like whatever you want to call it, when you have everything aligned and working towards the same desired outcome, I think you have a much better chance of achieving it. And I think that's what really all this comes down to.
At this point, we begin our second part, which is the section that contains what I call excerpts from the government Bible. I call it that because, as you can tell from part one, there's a small segment of the United States government that makes scientific and technological judgments from a knowledge base that is not available to the general public. The program out at Area S4 consisted of 3 projects: Project Galileo, Project Sidekick, and Project Looking Glass. Project Galileo dealt with gravity propulsion and was the source of all the information you've learned in this first section. Project Sidekick dealt with a beam weapon that had a neutron source and was focused by a gravity lens. Project Looking Glass dealt with the physics of seeing back in time. If the following information is true, the United States government also makes judgments on a historical, philosophical, and even theological level from a knowledge base that is not available to the general public. These are excerpts from some of that information.
Look at the interview with John McAfee a couple years before he died, where he said,
I donated to many secretaries within the government laptop computers, really nice ones, that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I was watching, monitoring, listening. I was looking for information that they had set me up for that raid. I didn't find it. I did find out that the Minister of National Defense was the largest drug trafficker in all of Central America. The Minister of Immigration, the largest human trafficker.
You don't think people out here playing chess, bro? You must be delusional.
Galactic intercouncil stuff. Great segue. I came across this video where they're talking about the CIA declassified, so like the remote viewers, you know, that like can supposedly, they're basically like psychics, right? Yeah. So they can just like see future, past, current stuff in different locations on Earth and in the galaxy, apparently.
Chronovisor, right?
All CIA founded. Super weird. But apparently in the 80s, 1988, there was this remote viewer, and they rank it based off of accuracy. They do A to like F, I believe. And this one was circled like a B. So it was like a more accurate remote viewing session. And his task was to look up where this is so weird, the Galactic Federation headquarters is at. Did you see this?
I haven't seen this, but that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. And so this whole CIA document is just absolutely wild. So he's doing his whole little thing, right? And he talks about the surroundings where this Galactic Federation's at. It's in the U.S. or it's on our world, the Federation headquarters.
It's in Earth?
On Earth.
In Earth.
Listen.
It could be in Earth.
And in the, yeah.
Okay.
In and on.
In and on. But he like describes this place, and there's this whole write-up. This is the actual CIA document, right? So it's like,
yeah,
the guy's writing what this guy's talking about. But he talks about the surroundings, and there's these vast, huge mountains, very rocky, and then there's like a flat plateau, and then there's a giant lake. And the guy says it seems a lot like Lake Titicaca in Peru.
Okay.
Maybe I pronounced that wrong because you laughed.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Titicaca.
I don't know. I don't know where I think you were going to say that.
Something
else.
I was thinking it sounds like Shambhala a little bit, right? From
Or
the
it
Rorik
sounds like that
people?
place, where we talked about how the lake could have been like an energy conductor.
Oh man, I don't know.
I don't think that was a lake. I think it used to be a lake. You're thinking about China.
In China.
Yeah.
Yeah. There used to be an old lake bed.
Oh, okay.
Or it used to be like salt water.
They use salt water from a lake running through tunnels in the mountain.
Either way, this guy talks about he entered this chamber and there was this hallway, and then it led up to an inclined hallway. Just these megalith stone pillars on all sides. And he walked up it, and in the middle of this room was this altar. And he said he went and laid on this altar. This is the CIA remote viewer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden from above, there was this, he said it was this beaming white light that went from his head to his toes. And then he looked, and there was a man, or he said an entity in a white robe standing there. And then he looked over, and there was a group of entities standing in white robes. And one of them walked over to him and then placed his hands on him. And it was the weirdest stuff ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this super weird. He said it seemed very spiritual, religious. He didn't know how to describe it. This was in 1988, right? Lake Titicaca.
Correct.
I can't stop laughing.
there has to be a better way to pronounce it.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Just make up
the
a better
commenters
way.
will let us know.
But it was in 2000 that these Italian archaeologists discovered that at the bottom of Lake Titicaca was this ancient city with an ancient temple.
No way.
That really matched up with this CIA document.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So wait, that means, hold on a second. He was underground that whole time?
We don't, I
Under
don't
a
know.
lake?
I mean,
if we talk about these UFOs coming up from the water.
Wow.
That's a big
Right?
thing too.
Yeah.
Like how much of that we've explored space more than we've explored the ocean.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
They say well, what can we learn? It's like it seems like you can learn a lot.
The orbs are beings. It's a created intelligent being that watches us, that monitors all life on this planet. That's what they do.
So that would be like the little humanoid beings that you saw 18 years ago tomorrow. Those are what come out of.
Yes. Yeah. And the cool thing is I have video of that. So nobody can tell me I'm not right about it. And everybody's wondering, how did you get into NASA? Why were you there? Why were you studying with them? What was their interest in me? Why did they need me? When I ask them, why do you need me? Why do you want me here? You've got rockets, you've got space shuttles, you've got satellites, you've got the space station, all the money and technology and telescopes in the world. And they're like, we know they like you and they communicate with you and they don't have nothing to do with us at all. And we'd like to know why, what it is they want, and why it is they're harassing their astronauts.
Harassing them.
Harassing them. So has any astronauts ever seen an orb? All of them.
No way.
All of them.
Really?
Yep.
So how do they see them? How do they appear to them?
They would appear outside the space shuttle, look in the windows at them, stand up over the shuttle bay or the space station, glowing. Sometimes there's a report of a half a dozen of them 125 feet tall with wings, standing there smiling at them.
Wow.
So for 18 years I never talked about this, and this is the first time publicly.
So we're talking about things that come out of the orbs.
Angels, angelic beings, created beings. They're made of energy, but in a ball of light. But out of that ball of light comes a glowing being. Sometimes they're 6-7 feet tall or taller.
Or 125 feet tall.
Yep.
All right, first of all, I'm just going to say Lake Titicaca, Lake Boob Shit. That's what we're calling it now. Lake Boob Shit. So that remote viewer basically went back in time and was like seeing something that happened during that ancient times of the ancient temple before it was underneath Lake Titicaca, or Lake Boob Shit, as we're now saying. And biblically accurate angels is supposed to be like a gyroscope, right? Like what is that thing that theory of machine that absorbs energy from a star? It's built around it. I can't think of the name of it. Basically look like that, but with like wings and an eyeball or something. So maybe the orbs are just like there's so much light and energy coming off them, you can't even actually see like the biblically accurate angel depiction. I don't know if they're actually angels, but whatever that being is that was called an angel. I don't know, man. Like I said, there's so much crazy stuff going on. I don't have the answers. And I think a lot of it, I don't even want the real answer. You know, I think it's fun to just wonder on a lot of this stuff. I think if I were to get the real, like, definitive answer of some of these things, I would be very disappointed because it probably wouldn't be as cool as it is in my head, right? So let me know what you think, though.